Hello, thank you for joining today's webinar session on how to manage training activities digitally with the help of Qdms software and Acumatica ERP system. Today, I am with my colleagues. My name is Kevin Devecoglu. I'm the Managing Director of Bimser International. Today, thank you for joining today's webinar session on how to manage training activities digitally with the help of Qdms software and Acumatica ERP system. Today, I am with my colleagues. My name is Kevin Devecoglu. I'm the Managing Director of Bimser International. Today, thank you for joining today's webinar session on And I have my colleagues with me today. I have Alex Kvartirov from Emrat Consulting. And Alex is a certified lead ISO 9001 auditor. So he is with us in our panel. Also, I have Sam Watt with us from our engineering team. He is our pre-sales software engineer. So Sam can perform a demonstration of Qdms. Also, I have Furkan Bas with us, our Qdms product manager. Together, we will be performing this executive webinar session. First of all, I'd like to talk about Bimser International a little bit, who we are, what we do, and what is our mission as an organization. Bimser International is an enterprise software maker since 1998. Bimser is based in New York with global presence. And it is an ISO 9001, ISO 27001, and ISO 15504 certified company. At Bimser, we help companies simplify their business processes and adopt digital transformation so that they can be more productive, more efficient, and more competitive in the marketplace. We have global presence, as you see on the slide. We are based in New York. We are also active and present in Europe as well as in Middle East and Southern Europe. So we are a group of companies. We are active in many different ERP and technology ecosystems. We are an official Acumatica independent software vendor. We are an official certified SAP vendor. We are also a Microsoft Gold development partner. And we are also with many other reputable technology companies as partners. And we actively offer our technologies together. Since 1998, we focus on these 4 products: EBA, BIM, Qdms, and Ensemble. EBA is an enterprise-level electronic business automation platform with a low-code workflow development capabilities to help companies automate and digitize business processes. BIM is for asset maintenance, facility, energy, and fleet management. Qdms, that we'll talk more about today, is for quality, risk, audit, performance, and compliance management. And finally, Ensemble is for intelligent business process modeling. Also, you can see EBA-based contract management application, which is also Acumatica certified, helps companies digitize and automate contract management processes. And as an upgrade of EBA, Synergy CSP Content Services platform as a low-code, no-code workflow development platform is also coming to market this year. So that is our product range as our proprietary software systems. And this is our also specialty. So we are a specialist in quality management in a digital environment. We are a specialist in asset and maintenance management in a digital environment. We are also a specialist in workflow and business process automation for companies to run their businesses in a digital and paperless work environment. All of our systems, including Qdms, they have high level of integration capabilities. All of our systems integrate with ERP systems, CRM systems, manufacturing execution systems, and IoT devices. We have a new partnership with Halo Smart Sensors for remotely monitoring temperature, humidity, lighting, noise, to automate maintenance and quality management operations, for example. So we have all these integrations in place. As we are also talking about Acumatica ERP system today, we have ready-made integrations with Qdms, our quality, risk, audit, performance, and compliance management system. Also, we have ready-made integrations with our BIM software system for asset maintenance, facility, fleet, drone, and energy management. As I mentioned earlier, eBay is also certified as an Acumatica ERP software solution located in Acumatica's marketplace, as you can see anytime you visit. We have many reputable references using our systems on a daily basis. These world-class companies put their trust and confidence in our company, Bimser International, and in our products, and they use our systems on a daily basis. We have millions of professional users and thousands of corporations using our software systems on a daily basis, which we are proud of. Let's talk about Qdms a little bit before we talk further about training management, fundamentals of training management, and performing the demonstration. Qdms is Bimser International's proprietary software system. We have been developing it since 1998. It's a mature and solid and reliable quality management software. That is why we have more than 1,000 corporate customers using our systems all over the world. And there are more than 1 million professional users using Qdms on a daily basis. These professionals are quality managers, quality directors, operational managers, CEOs, general managers, sales managers, marketing managers, production managers, and many other quality and continuous improvement motivated professionals anywhere in the world. Qdms is an Acumatica certified application. We also just got recertified for Qdms. Now Qdms is also certified for Acumatica 2020 R2 version as well, in addition to what you see on the screen as a latest news that I can share with you. So we have ready-made integrations with Acumatica. It works seamlessly both ways, and we also updated our certification as 2021 R2 version of Acumatica ERP system. Qdms is being used in many different industries. It is actually vertical free. However, we have a lot of specialties as to the list you see on the slide. Many companies using Qdms in many different industries, such as aerospace, automotive, cannabis industry, chemical industry, construction, food and beverage industry, healthcare, pharmaceutical industry, life sciences, manufacturing, oil, gas, and energy, mining, packaging, and many other verticals, many different companies in these many different verticals using Qdms on daily basis. So we have a lot of experience in many different quality management systems digitally. Also, we have a lot of experience as to verticals, industries, as to expectations, business requirements, and challenges these companies having in different industries. So we are here to help, and we've been helping different companies, more than 1,000 companies in different industries every year. On Qdms, you can run many different quality management processes, and we call this Bimser International approach to digital transformation. So we believe once you implement this framework, you'll adopt digital transformation and you'll digitize all your quality management operations for continuous improvement, to increase customer satisfaction, also to increase employee and stakeholder satisfaction as well, which will naturally reflect on your financials. So with the help of Qdms, you can manage your quality assurance system. This quality assurance system may be based on ISO 9001, maybe AS 9100 in aerospace industry, maybe you are in food and beverage industry, and it may be ISO 22000 SQF or BRC, for example. Also, as quality assurance system dictates quality control, you can also perform your quality control operations digitally, just like you are managing your quality assurance system digitally as well. So we see many different quality control operations in different industries, such as production control, machine control, service control, customer satisfaction, purchasing control, and many other control requirements that we have been seeing in different industries. So you can perform these quality control operations digitally with the help of Qdms. As a next step, and as we always preach, predictive and proactive approach of management in a digital environment, we also have predictive quality management capabilities. So our system integrates with smart sensors so that you can remotely monitor your work environment, your equipment for different values, different indicators, temperature, humidity, light, smoke, or many other different indicators that you like to remotely monitor. So any indication of an out of range threshold base requirements, rules that you put, we can help you automate and digitize your quality management operations. Before anything happens, that's why we call it predictive. So you proactively take action for quality management purposes, which will lead you to continuous improvement naturally. So that is also an important piece, important part of our digital transformation framework for quality management. As I mentioned earlier, Qdms has ready-made integrations with Acumatica ERP system to pull and push any data. That may be master data, that may be manufacturing-related data, or any other information that you keep on Acumatica that you like to link it to Qdms. We can have the access. Also, from Qdms to Acumatica, if you like to feed Acumatica ERP system coming from your Qdms quality management system, that is also available already, because we have ready-made integrations with Acumatica ERP system as a certified Acumatica application. As I mentioned earlier, all of our systems, they have the modern ways of integrating other software systems to pull and push data to help you have an integrated management system in a digital environment. And as part of the predictive quality management with Qdms, our latest partnership with Halo Smart Sensors also helps you monitor your work environment as well, for temperature, for weight, for gas detection, for noise detection, air quality, and so on, so that you can automate and digitize your quality management operations as well. Before anything happens, these indicators can help you take action automatically instead of making a phone call, sending an email. We can help you automate and digitize your quality management operations. This example, for example, on the screen is refers to the work environment. So there may be also more industrial environments, say food and beverage, for example, which temperature and humidity control is critical, critical for the food that you are actually keeping in your refrigerators. Also critical in terms of complying local, state, and federal regulations as to product food safety. That's also applicable in pharmaceutical industry, life sciences, cannabis industry as well. Similarly, you need to monitor temperature, humidity, and other important indicators in your work environment. So we help you remotely monitor with Halo sensors and take action proactively. If you have any other sensors, we can also integrate, of course. It is not a problem. It all takes for us to actually implement a web service API is to listen to other devices. So we have this modern technology to connect any other smart sensors in addition to Halo smart sensors. Qdms has a modular structure. So we offer more than 30 modules to our customers. You can pick and choose any module that you like based on your quality assurance system, your quality management requirements, your expectations, and challenges. So typically, a backbone of any quality management system is actually controlled document management, record management operation. So for that, we have controlled document management module. In addition, for continuous improvement, you need to get feedback from your customers, from your vendors, from your employees, from your stakeholders. That is why we have customer complaint module for internal and external complaints. So you can investigate, you can study these complaints to see if there is a way to take corrective actions towards continuous improvement. You may want to get suggestions from your employees, from your customers. That's why we have suggestion management module. You may want to check your operations to make sure, based on your control document management, based on your SOPs, quality policies, your procedures, your instructions, you want to make sure everyone is following your instructions or your policies. That is why we have the audit management module to make sure all of your operations in line with your quality policies, your SOPs, your guidelines and instructions. And all audits also help you take corrective actions for continuous improvement. All of our modules actually on Qdms are independent and interdependent. For example, you may process customer complaint on customer complaint module, and if there's a need for corrective action for continuous improvement, customer complaint module is already integrated with corrective action module. So it all depends on how you like to be running, and all of your quality management system, such as ISO, will be managed digitally with no need of paper. Meaning you are ready for audit anytime. So there is no need for special preparation for audits anymore. As long as you use Qdms on daily basis, you can be audited by your customers, by ISO, or by other authorities or other stakeholders anytime. So that is that's an actually very important advantage and benefit our customers have been enjoying for many years. Qdms runs on laptops, on desktops, as well as tablets and smartphones. So you can access your quality management system. You can perform your audits, customer complaints, corrective actions anytime and anywhere. Also, Qdms is web-based, especially if you are working remotely. If you are traveling, you can access your quality management documents and data anytime you need to. Great. So until now, we talk about Bimser International, a brief introductions as to who we are and what we do. Also, I introduce you Qdms, Quality, Risk, Audit, Performance, and Compliance Management software of ours on a very high level. I hope you find it to be informative. Now, I'd like to invite Alex Kvartirov to our virtual stage. Let's learn about the fundamentals of training management based on ISO requirements and quality management principles. What ISO is actually asking us and how we actually need to perform it. Also, as I mentioned earlier, Bimser is also an ISO 9001 certified company. So basically we practice what we preach. So we believe in quality management systems ourselves. We believe in continuous improvement. So every single thing that we have been talking about in terms of quality management and Qdms, we practice it on a daily basis. So that is critical. And we are ourselves internally as a group with more than 300 users. We are also a Qdms user ourselves. So we are very familiar. We know a lot, and we practice every day for quality management systems for continuous improvement, and we believe in it. And I'm really happy to introduce Alex Kvartirov as our presenter as part of our executive webinar session. Alex, if you are ready, please take over the screen.
Sure.
I'll stop sharing so you can continue.
Okay, can you see the screen?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yes, there is a share screen button. If you click it, it should be coming to our screen. Okay, looks like coming up. Okay.
Okay.
You can see your screen. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Kevin, for inviting me to this session on training management. And hello, everybody. And again, thank you for joining this webinar. Yes, what I'll discuss today is what are the ISO requirements to manage your training and, in effect, really the competence of your personnel in your organization. So before I go into some of the requirements for that, let me just very briefly introduce my company, AmRest Consulting. I myself, I'm a certified ISO 9001 lead auditor, and I'm the sole proprietor of AmRest Consulting. I've established my company back in 2015 after a career in a very large aerospace company, which is certified to the AS 9100 quality standard, which is the aerospace standard. And currently what I do is I provide consulting services for businesses that are either trying to achieve ISO certification or maintain it, because you have to do certain things to maintain a ISO certification. Now, back in 2018, I met Kevin, and I learned about the tool set that the Bimser provides. And in particular, I was extremely impressed with Qdms, because in dealing with ISO, you have to manage a very large amount of data, and that was always an issue when I was doing my consulting work. And here is a wonderful tool that really helps you manage the data, and then the whole process of performing audits and so on becomes very simple with the use of this Qdms tool. And I also do various webinars and lectures on various ISO topics. So let me just briefly introduce what is the quality management system. And this diagram, which is called the Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle, was developed quite a while back by Deming, who is a quality guru. And what it really means, it's a continuous improvement cycle. So you always remain in a loop because you're trying to find your problems, areas of improvement, and then you act on it to actually make those corrections. Now, on the right side of the screen, I've identified the ISO clauses. I've listed clauses 4 through 10 because the first 3 clauses are basically introduction, definitions, and so on. So really the requirements of ISO are in clauses 4 through 10. Okay. Now, today, since we're going to be focusing on training, and training really is defined in section 7, which is called support. And really, section 7 deals with both your personnel requirements and your infrastructure. So there's really 2 areas that is covered in section 7. So I will deal with strictly the sections of clause 7 that deal with the personnel requirements and specifically training. So let's look at, there's really 4 main sections in clause 7 that kind of manage what you have to do with your personnel. And obviously, the first one in 7.1.2, it deals with the people. It's kind of a general statement, but it really says that, yes, in order to manage your quality management system, which includes all your operation, your processes, and so on, you really have to have the right people to do that. The next requirement, 7.2, is competence. Okay, so really, training is obviously a very important part to achieve competence of your staff. All right, so this is really what ISO is driving at, is to maintain competence of your staff. So again, to effectively manage your QMS, you have to have your staff trained and to perform all the various pieces and parts of the QMS. Now also, 7.B requires you to monitor and maintain the competence of your staff, and through various means like training, education, or experience. So all of that really builds up the competence of your staff. And then 7.2C tells you that you have to take the right action to really acquire the competence, and you continuously evaluate the effectiveness of the training and how you're really achieving those levels of competence. Now, I want to really stress on paragraph 7.2.d, which I highlighted in red, okay, because what it says is, it says retain appropriate documented information as evidence of competence. So whatever, for each individual, whatever training or really competence, the skills that he acquires has to be documented. And I want to just digress for a bit here on my own, let's say, incident that I went through, that I lived through when I was still employed in the aerospace company. And that happened during the surveillance audit, which is a yearly audit of your AS 9100 quality management system. And what happened is that the auditor um, asked the human resource individual to look at all of the records for the employees, for all their training records. Well, actually, at that time, this goes back many years, and I was not aware of the existence of the Qdms tool. So unfortunately, HR could not provide that information because all that data was scattered throughout the organization. Some of it was in different departments. Some of it was in folders, in file folders. So the auditor was very upset that the information was not readily available, and he gave a 30-day reprieve to fix the problem, or else he would pull the certification for the organization. That was obviously a very serious matter. So my point is that if at that time the Qdms tool was available, then everything would have been right there, okay, available to the auditor to go over and review. So I think that's a very important point that I want to stress, that all the records have to be readily available for the audits. And then paragraph 7.3 requires that employees be aware of the organization's quality policy and objectives. Okay, so that has to be continuously stressed, and make sure that all the employees are aware of that. And lastly, 7.4 is communication. And that again should be defined in the procedures, in the company procedures, as to who, when, and how, and all of it is communicated, because that's a very important part of making sure that all of the employees are aware of your policy. Now, when you talk about training, there's obviously a lot of different training. Now, I came up with a list. It's certainly not an exhaustive list, but certainly gives you an idea of what kind of training can be used to enhance your overall competence. Obviously, first thing is any training that's imposed by the government or regulatory authorities, that's obviously has to be carried out. It may not be very often, but in certain cases, a customer may require certain training, because if you're going to be working on their system, then you maybe have to have some knowledge of what it's all about. New employee orientation. I think it's very important that new employees get a feel of how important the QMS is to the organization. So I think as part of the introduction, they should have a brief overview of what is the QMS requirements or policy in the organization, and what the employee must follow as part of the job requirements. Obviously, there should be targeted training to improve employee skills, and that obviously depends on the nature of the work that the employee has to do, but that is a very important part of training. And then refresher training on various QMS, the policy, policy procedures, and those may change with time. So obviously, all that information has to be conveyed to the staff. External seminars, webinars, and again, to enhance the competence of employees, all of that has to take place, and all of those has to be recorded in the employee records. Any certification that the employee achieves, and there's a lot of different certifications depending on the nature of the business, that has to be obviously recorded. Outside courses in college and universities, whether they're going for a degree or just taking courses to enhance a particular knowledge in a certain area, that has to be recorded. Any outside work experience, which definitely relates to his job, that's also part of the training record. And lastly, unfortunately, it has to happen, remedial training. Okay, if employee fails to meet the minimum job requirements and he has to go through remedial training, that's part of the training record that should be maintained. Well, finally, I wanted to just, as a summary, is to really manage QMS. Even before COVID came and kind of made it much more difficult, has always been a very challenging proposition. And now, because of COVID, a lot of employees are now working remotely, and while you're still working remotely, you still need to access all of the QMS data from the remote location. So virtual control of all the QMS documents and records is really required, because the documents and records continuously change, they get updated. So if you're working remotely, you need to have a real-time access to all of this really tremendous amount of data. And also, as I mentioned before, audits are performed regularly as part of whether you're going for certification or you're maintaining ISO. And now it is admissible to perform audits virtually, okay? So because of COVID, it's maybe difficult to have the auditors do the audit on site. So now a tool like Qdms can also give you the capability of doing audits virtually. So we all hope that certainly in the next maybe 6 months, later in the year, COVID is going to sort of go away. But I think the remote workforce is likely to continue to some scale, some degree, because there are advantages of working remotely. You don't waste time commuting and you have access to a larger work pool. But all of that really means that you need a software tool to really allow you to have a very efficient labor force working remotely. And even if you're not working remotely, you still need a tool to manage all of the ISO related data. And I think Sam will have a demonstration of how the Qdms tool really simplifies and makes the ISO management part of dealing with the data, makes it a lot easier. So this is really my message, and I guess I'll thank you for your attention, and I'll pass it now back to Kevin. Thank you.
Alex, thank you very much. Thank you for the informative presentation. Let me take over the screen and we can continue our webinar session. Perfect. Looks great. So we learned a lot about fundamentals of training management in the scope of ISO and quality management principles from Alex Kvarturov. Thank you very much, Alex, as always, very informative. So having this fundamental information, this knowledge in mind, how would you perform training management operations digitally with the help of Qdms software system. We'll also address Acumatica ERP integrations as well in this executive webinar session. And we also have bonus subject that we'll also talk about, which is predictive quality management with Halo Smart Sensor integration. So for that, I'm gonna invite my colleague, Sam Watt, our pre-sales software engineer from our engineering team. So Sam will show us how Qdms looks, how it feels, how user-friendly it is, and how you are basically be using Qdms for training purposes digitally. And when we look at our agenda, we'll talk about training module of Qdms. We'll talk about training performance application of Qdms. The bonus subject matter is predictive quality management. So Sam will be also touching on that as well. We'll also talk about reports and dashboards coming with Qdms software solution. Well, we are ISO 9001 certified company, so the quality management and continuous improvement is actually in the soul of our company, and we are very experienced in quality management digitally, so we can talk about these subjects for hours. So we'll keep it as brief as possible, as high level as possible, and if you like to have more information, if you like to schedule a meeting with Alex and also with us, please feel free to send us an email, and we'll be happy to schedule a special session for your organization. So just a brief background information as to what we are about to show is just like Alex mentioned in the scope of fundamentals of ISO training management, in the scope of ISO, you need to keep records of training activities. So with the help of Qdms, you can keep your training records in place. Sometimes trainings needs to be one time, sometimes they need to be periodic. So all these can be managed in Qdms. You can keep your training records. The system also reminds you what is the next time to take the training again, if that is a periodic training, maybe monthly, weekly, quarterly, annually. It doesn't really matter. And the system can help you remember that and help you assign the training task to team members automatically. That is an important piece. Also, you may be an employee who is requesting a training for improvement, right? In the scope of continuous improvement. We also as employees, we like to also improve our capabilities, our skills and skill set. So you can also request training through Qdms to your superiors as well. So that is also recorded, and your team, your high management team can have an internal review as to your training request, for example. This training may be performed within the organization. Maybe you need to go to a school or in an outsourced training center for this particular training, for example. So in that case, you'll take the training, and you'll have eventually you have a document, maybe a certificate, maybe a letter coming from the training center or school, for example. So that record is to be managed and kept in Qdms in a digital environment. In some cases, you may need to perform the training internally. We see this also all the time. For example, you may have videos, you may have PDF-based or PowerPoint-based information that you like your employees to go through and learn and study. And at the end, you may want to offer them a test, for example, to make sure that they really learn it with videos, with documentation, or combination of all of these. So you can also perform this training internally with the help of Qdms in the digital environment. So you have two options, either having the training outside of your organization or performing the training within the organization digitally. So we are offering both options to you to help you comply with any quality management or regulatory requirement, also to help you improve your teams, your employees' skill set, to help your company adopt continuous improvement culture. So having said that, I'd like to invite my colleague, Sam Watt, and Sam will be showing us training module of Qdms and how to perform training in Qdms's digital environment. Sam, let me stop sharing, and floor is yours.
Okay.
Looks good. Thank you.
My screen. Okay, great. Thank you, Kevin, for your presentation, and also thank you, Alex. So in the coming, I will demonstrate you Qdms, our quality, risk, audit, and compliance management system. And as you know, Qdms is certified by Acumatica, so that we have the integration between these two systems. And as for Qdms, we are capturing the data that you recorded in Acumatica as a master data, like the vendor information, employees, and also the stock item. So we will capture it from Acumatica to our system. So it's helped you to avoid any double entry between two systems. In addition, you can also run Qdms on the same page of Acumatica. Meaning after you log into Acumatica, you can also connect to Qdms on the same page. And on the left, you can still go to the workspaces of Acumatica. And on your right, now you can manage and connect to Qdms accordingly. Qdms is a permission-based system, meaning not everyone can see everything. You will see what you are supposed to do based on the permissions that are granted to your account. Different users have different permission settings based on their role, position, profession, department, and group. And after you log into our system, you can find all the pending tasks and also the requests for approval on your homepage. And you can get a quick connection by opening the widget and click this particular request. On the top left, this is the main menu of Qdms. And thanks to the modular structure of our system, you can pick and choose the modules that you want to have and deploy on your cloud or on-premise server. And today, you will learn how you can manage your training operations digitally by using our system in the scope of complying with ISO standard. In Qdms, we have the training module that allows you to create different training plan. And as for the plan, that's like the goal that we want to achieve. For example, new employee training in this demo environment, first aid, or some specific training. So those can be defined in our system. And once we have the plan is ready, then we can create different training item. And as for the training item, it's like how we can achieve the goal, meaning the plan that we have. This is the new employee training. And we will have eventually more new employee coming to our company. And we can create the training item for different new employees. And while we are managing the training item, we can schedule it with the subject and also the start date and end date. Of course, you can schedule it with the start time and end time. And if there's any budget, we can also record it in Qdms. After those are defined, then we can invite the trainer to this training item. So we can pick and choose the trainer from the user list that we have in Qdms, and those are coming from Acumatica actually, because we have the integration between Qdms and Acumatica. So we can pick and choose the username as the trainer, or the trainer can be coming from other organizations or other parties. Then you can also record it in our system, like who is the trainer and who is the responsible person in our company. So if there's any questions or follow-up that we want to keep tracking with this trainer, we can also find who is the responsible person for this for this trainer coming from other organization. And once we have this ready, we can also pick and choose if it is periodic and how we should repeat this training automatically by using Qdms, like every month or every 12 months, meaning annually. And once we save this, and this training item will be sent to the trainer. the trainer has the capability to invite the participant to this training. And we can add the trainee from this user list and put them into this participant list. And also, we can manage the attendance of the trainee as we have performed this training, for example. And then we can update if this particular trainee show up in the training. We can add this like participated or not. And also the time will be recorded in the system so that you can always keep tracking the status of the trainee and what they have completed. As you can see right here, Qdms helps you to record all the training that you have scheduled and assign to the trainer and trainee. Besides, we can also run the report and see what we have done. And those are on the screen, those are the ready-made reports that you can generate in our system. For example, the training report based on the department. And before we generating any reports in Qdms, you can also put the criteria or conditions to your report. Then you can make your searching. So all your records will be shown in a list, and you're more than welcome to export your report into Excel or PDF for sharing with any responsible parties. So this is how Qdms helped you to record all the training that you have performed in the company, and those will be saved in an archive of Qdms, and anytime you can retrieve these records in the system. And also in Qdms, we have an application that is actionable for you to perform the training. And it can be managed in Qdms extension. In Qdms extension, we can find the training and assign the training to someone. And this trainee has to perform, let's say, a task after the training. And here's an example in Qdms extension. We have the application that helps you to manage the training actions that we have scheduled. For example, right here, we have a new training, and we want to assign this training to a specific user or to the specific user groups. So now, right here, as the HR department, for example, I'm trying to add the trainee into this list. I can pick more than one, meaning I can invite more than one trainee into this training assignment. But let's say in this example, I invite Ashley, and then we can pick and choose the training type, what the training is about, if it is optional or mandatory training. And after that, we can set up the deadline for the training, and also attach any document as a training material to this trainee, so they can read the document as the training material, and it can be a Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF, image, or even video and audio. So those can be you can attach the training material that you have uploaded in our document management module and attach it in this particular training assignment. Of course, we can pick and choose if this training is periodic or not. And in Qdms extension, we have a form sign and also the flow sign for every single application. And in this training application, we will send this training to the trainee, and the trainee has to perform the have to join this training, like watching or reading the training material, and then take the test after they review the training materials. And in this example, we are ready and send this training material to Ashley. Then we can send this out. And this request will be sent to the trainee that we have added into the trainee list. And as the admin, I am now going to log in as the trainee, Ashley. And I can find this particular training request on my home screen and start managing or start taking the training. I can open this up by connecting from my home screen, and this will be shown right here, and I can review the training material, and it will be open in the built-in browser of Qdms extension. And after that, I can take my exam. And in my exam, then I can find all of those. I can answer the questions that we have prepared right here as a test. Excuse me. Okay, this will be 2, 3, 0. And also the system will help you to do the scoring of this test automatically, like based on the answer that I'm now submitting. Then the system will calculate the score, and if you pass it, as for the passing score, it is also configurable in the system. And once it is ready, then we can see what we have. If I complete the test and my score is 100. Also, if you notice, the system generates a certificate to the trainee, like they complete the training. And please remember this path, like camp, and then we have a certification. So it is saved automatically in the system. So now let me log into my account, and I can find this certificate in the document management module. And the system generates this certificate automatically. So it can be a reference for the trainee and also for the customer, like the HR department, like the employees finished the training accordingly. One second. And also in Qdms extension, we also save all the records that we have done, like the training record. Those will be shown in this particular list, like the date that we assign the training, and also what is the expiry date of the certification. Those can be found in this record. As for the last training that we have done, like 2000, yep. And we can open this up and find out the exact data that we have entered, and the system will generate, as I mentioned, a certificate automatically with the name and also excuse me, not this one. And with the date and also the expiry date on the certificate based on the template that you upload to the system. And this is one of the example, like certificate of completion, and the name will be captured by the system automatically, and also the issue date and expiry date on this certificate. As for the expiration date, the system keeps tracking it automatically. So it will send out a notification to the certificate holder or the HR department by the time it is expired, so that we can make sure all our employees will renew their certificate and take the training again before the last certificate that they are holding is expired. And in Qdms extension, I also want to show you the bonus content is the one that we integrate with Halo Smart Sensor. Halo Smart Sensor is the one that helps you to manage and capture the value coming from like the environment or the noise. So I'm going to show you as right here, like this is the homepage of Halo Smart Sensor. As you can see, it helps you to retrieve the value like wave, THC, gunshot, PM 2.5, temperature and humidity, and so on. And they are now all in a good condition, meaning under the threshold value that we set up in the sensor, and they are represented in green color. So once it's turned into red, as what I'm doing, I will lower the threshold value for the temperature. As what we are recording is the current temperature is, let's see, 66. Okay, so now I'm going to lower the threshold value as 40, meaning the current temperature is above the threshold value. And the color of this icon will be turned into red. And then this Halo Smart Sensor alerts will alert the responsible person by email, and also with the integration between Qdms extension and Halo Smart Sensor, we will trigger an application in Qdms extension automatically. So I'm going to switch to the responsible person account. And I will be able to find a request sending from Halo Smart Sensor in Qdms extension automatically. And in the application that is triggered automatically, we will capture the message coming from Halo Smart Sensor and fill the form that we have in Qdms extension automatically. And after that, we can still manage this application in the workflow that we set up. For example, we receive the sensor data coming from Halo, and then we can perform a second check, like the checking in person, before we save this record into database. And this is my previous record, but now I just received the Halo Smart Sensor alert, and it's coming to my account. As you can see, tell from the date and time, it's just created by the system automatically. I did nothing on my system, but it's run by itself. With the Halo's message, like the temperature, and what is our threshold value, and the date and also the time, then we understand that in this application, for the cooler temperature, they are above the range, so that we can perform our physical checking to our cooler or freezers, and also see if there's any corrective action is needed in this case. If we do need that, then we can just click a button, and then the system will take us back to the Qdms corrective action module, as known as Kappa module, and all the information will be fed automatically to Qdms. And as for the form design and also the workflow, they are not constant or static in our Qdms extension. Those are configurable, meaning we can always configure it based on the actual operation and also the preference of your company. It comes to the end of my demonstration. Thank you very much.
Sam, thank you very much for show and tell. Let me take over the screen and we can continue our executive webinar session. So during this show and tell session with my colleague Sam Watt, we had a chance to learn about Qdms in general, how it looks, how it feels, how we can help you digitize and automate your quality management operations. Also, we had a chance to learn about training management capabilities in a digital environment. So QDMS helps you manage your training records, helps you manage your training plans, helps you manage training requests, as well as it helps you perform training activities digitally at your organization. As a bonus, we also talk about predictive quality management operations of QDMS, and Sam talk about Halo smart sensor integrations with QDMS and how you can actually proactively perform your quality management operations in a digital environment. We always recommend a proactive approach, proactive management approach in any business practice. So in the scope of quality management, it is time for smart sensors, and it is time to put them to work, and you can use them in a digital environment with the help of QDMS extension to comply with quality management and regulatory standards. And we also talk about reports and dashboards available in QDMS environment. Now let's talk about some questions that we have been getting from you during this session. So some of the questions about quality management system in terms of fundamentals of it, and then some of the questions are about QDMS system in general. So let's look at those questions and address them. As I also mentioned earlier, we also have our contact information on the screen. So if you'd like to continue this conversation, if you'd like to ask some questions or schedule a meeting, please feel free to send us an email, and we'll be happy to schedule a special meeting for you. So one of the questions is about actually training management. Alex, looks like this question is for you. So the question is how we should plan our training programs in terms of quality management.
Well, this deals with, a lot of it deals with requirements from, the government, because, for example, New York State requires a yearly anti-sexual training, okay, which has to be performed yearly. And also, obviously, the organization has certain requirements to develop skills for their key individuals. So all of that has to be planned, and all the records have to be maintained. You can do all of that manually, but now if you have a fairly large organization, that becomes a nightmare. And certainly, as Sam has so well demonstrated, that all the planning could be done very easily through QDMS. So I think that's what the advantages of using such a tool for training purposes.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate it. Thank you for the answer. Let me see what other questions we have been getting on our list. So one of the questions is about the modular structure of QDMS. That's actually a very practical question. We get this all the time, but it is actually to the point. So the number of modules, what is the minimum, what is the maximum number of modules that we can have on QDMS? I can address that. So there is no minimum or maximum limits or requirements as for how many modules of QDMS you can have. Our main goal is to help you, assist you, manage your quality management system digitally. So if you like to start with a couple of modules, that's perfectly fine. If you like to start with a set of modules, let's say for ISO compliance, let's say for AS9100 compliance or any other requirement, for example, you can also get a set of modules. So that's really up to you, and you can start with the number of modules that you like. Sam, this question looks like for you, what is the number of quality documents we can keep in the document management module, and what is the limit of documents that we can keep in terms of size?
Actually, we do not have any limitation in our system. So first of all, like how many documents that you can save is depend on the resources that you have on your server. But we still have a way to manage the size of the documents that you are uploading to the to our system. So we can again set up a threshold value. For example, no document that is greater than, for example, 30 megabytes can be uploaded to the system. We can have this setting to be available in or activate in our system.
Great, thank you very much. So one question is about the access to Qdms software. During the pandemic, we are forced to work remotely, and it looks like it is here to stay. So are we able to use Qdms from home or from out of office environment remotely, no matter where we are? Sam?
Absolutely. So like today, I connect in my demonstration, I connect to Qdms by using my web browser, which means you can connect to our system anytime and anywhere with the internet connection. So that it helped you to manage like your training operations digitally and remotely.
Thank you, Sam. Alex, looks like we have a question for you, and we are also almost done in terms of our allocated time. So the question is about how to train employees or frequency of training of employees for quality management mindset. We are very busy on daily basis, but we like our team members, our employees to remember always continuous improvement. So how often we should train them, and what should be the frequency?
Well, that's a very good question, because really there's no requirement from ISO as to how often the employees have to be trained in the area of QMS. However, I think that, as I mentioned before, for all new employees, I think QMS, an introduction to QMS should be part of the orientation training. And then obviously things always change as policies change, as requirements change. Anytime there's a change to the QMS system, some sort of training must be carried out. And that could be done, offline. It's certainly with the capabilities of Qdms, that training could be performed certainly off-site. Employees that are not working at the company's location, the training could be performed anywhere where they are located. But again, I think that management, it has the responsibility to make sure that whatever training needs to get done, not even specifically to QMS, but for any of the company areas, that training be carried out and obviously recorded in the company records.
Alex, thank you for the answers. Thank you for the responses. I appreciate it. Before we end this session, would you like to share any other information or any other remarks from your side, Alex?
Yeah, sure. I just, again, wanted to, as a takeaway, just kind of very briefly summarize the advantages of Qdms. Is certainly, as you're all aware, ISO generates a tremendous amount of data. So certainly, Qdms provides a very good control mechanism of managing all that data. And really, again, as I mentioned before, my own experience is that audits from the certification body it's a very, let's say, dramatic experience, because before the audit, a week or two, everybody's going crazy, coming up, preparing, making sure that all the data is available. Now, if you have a tool like Qdms, then all the data is already there. So in effect, there's almost no preparation time, and when the auditor comes, he can have access either on-site or remotely to all of the QMS data, and the audit should go very, very easily and painlessly.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for the final remarks and your the information that you share, which is very educational and informational for all of our attendees and listeners. Thank you so much. So before ending our webinar, I'd like to also share some other information. For example, we performed Synergize 2021 annual virtual conference and summit on March 16 and 17. It was actually very exciting for us. We had a very good time with our attendees, and that was very successful. That is why we are actually looking forward to the one for the next year, 2022. That also by now available in terms of registration. So you are invited to register for the Synergize 2022 annual virtual summit and conference of Bimser International. We'll be talking about how to automate business processes in this digital environment and digital age. This year, we talk about remote work and the feature of remote work. We have already released our recordings of our sessions, so they are available on our YouTube channel. Please feel free to watch for Synergize 2021. And for Synergize 2022, that's going to be also virtual. It's going to be available. Will be, again, a lot of attendees from all over the world, from North America, from South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and we are very excited, and we are proud of these rich content that we have as to draw these attendees from different continents, different regions, and we are looking forward to have them also in 2022 as well for the Synergize annual virtual summit and conference of Bimser International. So you are invited, and please feel free to register on our Eventbrite page. When you go to Eventbrite, you can search for Bimser International, and you can see our coming sessions, especially for Synergize 2022 in this particular case. Our website is brand new. Please visit our website, bimserint.net. We have more content than before. We have more videos. We have more use cases. Also, we have a new app marketplace coming up. So you are more than welcome to visit our website and learn about our current offering and what is coming next as for our activities and also our products. Our YouTube channel is very active. At the moment, we have more than 300 videos available on our YouTube channel. And please visit our YouTube channel and subscribe so that as soon as there is a new video available, you'll have a chance to know about it as soon as possible. And our Eventbrite page is actually designed to help you see our coming events, our webinars, our also conferences and other activities. You can see the list, and you can also register for those that you are interested. I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for your interest. We are looking forward to seeing you in our coming webinar sessions. Thank you and have a nice day.